and let us all do we can to build a better future.
Let's talk about RFK Jr. We're going to be talking about the fact that this man is running a campaign, and I still am scratching my head about why he's running the Democratic primary. I mean, again, I understand. I get it. His family has connected to the Democratic Party, and perhaps in his perspective, his point of view, just going on a stretch here, then maybe this is his best option. Now, again, I've made it very clear on this show, I'm going to support third parties, independents. And after seeing what happened to the cuck Bernie Sanders, running in the Democratic primary and turning a blind eye to the DNC committing election fraud, not once but twice. I mean, if you try and run the DNC, prepare for the Democratic Party to screw you over. I mean, this is factual. This is truth. We've seen it. We've seen what the DNC did to, yes, Marianne Williamson's campaign in 2020, what it did to Andrew Yang's campaign in 2020, how they smeared and censored Tulsi Gabbard's campaign in 2020, and what they click, copy, paste, and repeated what they did to Bernie Sanders' campaign in 2020 like they did to him in 2016. But he was recently on Joe Rogan's show, and the thing is, as it stands right now, the Democratic Party has made it very clear they're not going to do any debates. And so the one thing that I would recommend to any challenger to Joe Biden is you need to get on all the media platforms as much as you can, and dare I say it, RFK Jr. and Marianne Williamson, perhaps you need to do an online town hall event. I would say to all of independent media, yes, interview them, talk to them. That's what their campaigns are going to have to do, and I'm glad he was able to get on Joe Rogan's show. I mean, it's a very popular program, and it is something we need to address. But the thing is, the DNC, Democratic Party, has made it clear who they want as their nominee, old man Biden. And we don't live in a dictatorship, but geez, I guess for some reason they're okay. They're okay with turning a blind eye to the fact that people want something else other than Biden. But I am really concerned about what's going to happen down the road to RFK Jr. when you have stuff like this be shared, especially when he makes a statement like this too. Because again, we've seen what happens when you challenge the establishment system. RFK Jr. tells Joe Rogan he's aware of possibilities CIA could terminate him. Got to be careful with YouTube. Got to be careful just a little bit. And there was a long time ago, and while I have this image up, where, RFK Jr. on a podcast a few years ago, where he was being interviewed by Mike Tyson, was talking about what happened to his father, RFK, and as well as JFK. And as independent media, we've seen firsthand what censorship can do to a network, what it can do to a channel, how, again, people can be silenced and suppressed. And the censorship is all too real, and people should be concerned about what's going to be happening down the road as we continue to see the censorship continue to happen. I can't predict the future, but I am worried about how everything will play out. Now, the thing is, this video that I'm going to show you, I'm not going to play it, but we talked about it on Hard Lens Media 4 weeks ago. RFK Jr. convinced CIA had a dealing in his father's passing away. Interview from Hotboxing with Mike Tyson. Sounds good, right? And what we do with all of our videos, as always, we do post a link to the original channel. So let me go ahead and pull that up here. I mean, it's not like it would ever disappear one day because it was up there when we did post it. And it's kind of concerning. So here, let me pull this up here. Important note, this interview came out 2 years ago on Mike Tyson's show, Hotboxing with Mike Tyson. Here is the link. There's the link. This video has been removed for violating YouTube's community guidelines. This video is 2 years old, YouTube. Why? Now, I sat through that whole interview. I don't see how it violated your guidelines, but okay. Okay, YouTube. That's the game you want to play. That is the game you want to play. That's the game you want to play, YouTube. Let me pull this video up here. Again, it was a very interesting conversation that Mike Tyson and his co-host had with RFK Jr. Let's pull up this video here.
But what do you think happens when you get into office? Like if you're talking about your uncle who was assassinated and you believe the intelligence agencies were part of that, what happens to you?
Well, I got to be careful. I mean, I'm aware of that, and I'm not, you know, I'm aware of that danger, and you know, I don't live in fear of it, you know, at all. But I'm not stupid about it. And
this is 30 seconds from Joe Rogan's interview with RFK Jr. Now, there's a lot more I would like to play, but knowing YouTube and how stupid it can get, I will pull up this tweet video from Citizen Free Press. I got to be careful again because the YouTube community guidelines are so stupid. Maybe someday things will get better. But this is very Joe Rogan talking about when CNN smeared him. All of you can see the print here as well. And when we did a video on that, YouTube said, and I quote, that we were giving out fake medical information, which is not true. Which is not true at all. And CNN did smear Joe Rogan. And they had a very robust conversation, and it got a lot of views. And I do encourage RFK Jr. and, yes, Marianne Williamson and anyone else that, dare I say it, will show up in the Democratic primary to get on many media platforms as possible to raise the ruckus. Now, we have shown plenty of videos from good friend of the show, Case Study QB, all the Twitter videos, all the photos, all the polling data showing that American voters are not confident in Joe Biden. American voters want there to be a debate. And this would be the first time ever we see an incumbent president actually debating his challengers, because Joe Biden is clearly not popular amongst voters. That's the key word, voters. And diehard Democratic voters. That's right. I'm going to give a little compliment to the vote blue no matter who people. Well, you want somebody else. So very good. And the thing is, Joe Biden might very well lose the first two primaries, as, again, he may not make it onto the ballot. So, again, shout out to RFK Jr. for being on Joe Rogan's show. But I wanted to pull up that interview that he had with Hotboxing with Mike Tyson, and the fact that that video has been taken down, and the fact that, yes, even RFK Jr. is really keeping his head on a swivel and very self-aware of the actions of the CIA. Again, the loss of JFK and RFK forever scarred this nation. I wish we could still use that video as a reference point. I don't know why YouTube decided to take it down. I've watched the video. I wonder what community guidelines it broke. I don't think it did break any guidelines, but it is what it is, unfortunately. I have hope that this election cycle would wake people up, and I do hope that it continues to do so. Now, I don't care how you vote on the political spectrum, folks, but know this, that the establishment neoliberal system wants to keep you in the dark. And if you don't wake up, you're forever going to be asleep.